Hi, Michelle here. Welcome to today's video. What I'm doing is I have some stuff kind of laid out here. I have two Hoyas that were in sets of cuttings that I was rooting that are finished rooting, and I'm going to go ahead and combine them into some 4-inch self-watering pots. I thought that while I was doing this, I would go ahead and talk about some reasons why Hoyas stop growing and some of the things that you can do to resolve those problems. So hopefully while I repot, I can keep my train of thought going because sometimes I can be a little scatterbrained. So I have some notes on my phone. So if you see me looking down, please don't mind. I just want to make sure I get everything covered. If you like today's video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. It lets me know if you like today's content. If you would like to see other plant-related videos from me, please consider subscribing to my channel. It really helps me out. And if you would like to interact with me, please leave a comment down below and I will get back to you. And now, on with the video. So the first thing I have here are the Sipatengensis cuttings. They were rooted except for this one, and I had to cut the roots off of this one because they had root mealies. So this one was completely well rooted. It was massively rooted actually, and they all had to go bye-bye. So unfortunately, what can you do? But this one brings to me the point of the main reason that your plants go downhill, and that is pests. The main pests that hits Hoyas are aphids, mealies, mealybugs, and root mealies. Thrips, although thrips are not really so much on Hoyas. Mainly aphids and mealybugs are the main culprits. Now, and of course, who can forget flat mites? Flat mites have taken over Hoya pest issues. What you need to do in order to see the flat mites is you do need a USB microscope or other such device that you can take a microscopic look at the new leaves, the undersides of stems where the petiole meets the leaf, and you are looking for tiny orange specks. That's flat mites. So these Hoyas do not have flat mites. I treated last year. I did a little bit of a different thing in that I treated with a commercial miticide. I'm in the US, so I can do such things. I know other people in other countries don't have those options. The second reason why your plants may not be growing is because the roots are rotted. And this may be for two reasons. The number one reason is overwatering, and the number two reason is underwatering. Most people that are new to Hoyas do not realize that Hoyas can actually be rotted in two ways. If you let a Hoya get too dry, what will happen is the roots will turn very brittle. And then when you go to water them, they will turn to mush, they will break apart, they will become very brittle, and they will not be able to absorb water. And these Hoyas, this is kicking my butt. Okay, we're gonna try this one again. I have to do this a lot with Hoyas. When I go to pot them, I'm not very good at potting up Hoyas. So I have to, it normally takes me about 3 or 4 tries to get something potted up. Now, after pests And after root rot, the next reason, it's kind of a triple threat: humidity, light, and temperature. I kind of grouped those three all in one, but they really are separate. Hoyas tend to be a little bit more sensitive to their environment. When they are involved in a environment that is not like their original environment, they can stop growing. What they generally do is they actually just grow slower. And I'm familiar with this because my home is in the desert. And normally we are rare to get up to 30% humidity. I use cabinets like the ones behind me for my plants that will not grow very well if put out in the outdoors. If you are dealing with a light or a temperature or a humidity issue, with light, you can add light. You can add light bars. With temperature, you can add heat mats if you want to. There are ways you can mitigate it slightly. But honestly, after keeping Hoyas, this will be my 4th year, which is still beginner. But after keeping them for 4 years, what I would say is that I wouldn't really worry too much about it because they will be fine. The next reason why your Hoya may have slowed down its growth is a reason a lot of people don't think of, and that is a nutrient issue. Hoyas are epiphytic, but they still absorb their nutrition in their roots as well as their leaves. So some people like to do a foliar spray fertilizer. I prefer to add a fertilizer to my water, a nutrient. I use a hydroponics nutrient solution because I do use semi-hydro to grow in. But a lot of people don't realize that semi-hydro doesn't have any nutrients in it. It's not like soil that has nutrients, pre-put in it, I guess you could say, included. So you do need to add your own macro and micronutrients to it. So if you are noticing slowing down, it might be a nutrient issue. When was the last time you fertilized? The next reason is your plant is in semi-hydro, be it leca, pon, but you may have it in a substrate that it does not like. And if it doesn't like the substrate, that may not be because of the substrate. It may be more of how you water and care for that substrate. So try another substrate and see how that works. But this is my Sipitangensis all potted up into one 4-inch pot with self-watering. Let me go ahead and put that in its cup, get it out of its way. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the Croniana as I talk about some of the last reasons that your Hoya might not be doing well. One issue that most people don't realize is that it may be outgrowing the pot. Sometimes you always hear the saying, Hoyas like to be root bound. Hoyas like to be root bound. Keep it in as small a pot as possible. And yes, that's true, but no, it's not always true. I'm going to hold up a picture up here of a Hoya I had that went a little too extreme. You want to up pot it before it gets this too far root bound. So I had this Croniana. The reason why I'm holding it is I'm going to put a picture of this because I had a video, and I'll link it up here. I had a video where this was a massive plant and it had root issues. The roots were half rotting and the leaves were starting to drop off of this by the small handfuls. They were dropping off 5 or 6 at a time. And so I made a video where I took it off the trellis and I took all the roots and I pulled off all of the dead roots and I repotted it. And unfortunately, you know, I just did too much to it. And all of the Hoya really started to go downhill. So I took cuttings. These were part of those cuttings. Unfortunately, I decided to root the cuttings in water and I lost a lot of, I probably lost a good 2/3 to the water rooting. It's partially, well, not partially, it's mostly my fault because I wasn't taking care of the cuttings like I should have been. But when you have massive amounts of cuttings, it's hard to, you know, root them. So it's my fault. The last 2 reasons that I'm going to give you, which I'm holding up the Croniana as an example, are it has damaged roots, either from how it's growing, be it is in semi-hydro and the roots have grown too far into the reservoir, have gone too far in the water. They're starting to become unhealthy because the roots don't want to be water roots, but yet they're in water, so they kind of dissolve. They go kind of translucent and get very friable, very thin, and pull apart very easy. Miro from Basie Plants has noticed that too, but he says he keeps those roots. So after I saw his video, I said, ooh, I should have kept those roots. But the other reason is the trellising. Hoyas can have issues if you trellis them incorrectly. If you get the stem bent on a trellis or bent while it is growing, you can have a whole stem die off. And a lot of times these Hoyas are just one stem for the whole entire plant. So if that stem becomes caught, strangled, constricted in any way, it can die off, cause the whole stem the whole way up to die off. You will notice actually the leaves at the end of the stem become dehydrated at first. They may become yellow, they may fall off. If a stem becomes constricted, if it's an issue with root loss, you will probably notice the leaves at the ends of the stems become noticeably damaged first. The leaves at the ends of the stems will become dehydrated. They will become very thin. You will see their abs and their ribs show more. You may see yellowing and dropping leaves along the stem. Normally overwatering root rot causes stems at the base of the plant to fall off, but underwatering causes leaves at the ends of the stems to become dehydrated, yellow, and fall off. Did I forget anything? No, I think I got all the reasons covered that I can think of that a Hoya might not do good. But the reason why I have this Croniana is because I did the video with this plant and I showed how I took this plant from a plant that was dropping leaves and would have eventually totally died, and took it to a plant that yes, is, I would call this very small compared to the Croniana I had before. But when you compare it to, I'll hold up a picture. This is the Croniana as I received it in 2020 or 2019. So as you can see, even with my total calamity of trying to fix this plant and having lost so much of it, I still am so far ahead of the game from where I started with this plant. I have so much more growth and the plant is so much larger. So I wish more people thought of that when you can take chances on your plants. You know, this plant I cut up and I put it in a couple of different pots and grew it and grew it and grew it. And when it was done, I brought it back and now it's in its own pot again. If the reason for your plant not growing is pests or root rot, you know, the easiest thing to do is to cut the roots and start again. Well, I mean, if it's mealy bugs, on the leaves, you know, the best thing to do is to treat it. If it has anything to do, if it's root mealies, you know, definitely cut the roots and start over. If it's root rot, the chances are probably cut the roots and start again, take cuttings and start again. If the reason for your growth is due to a nutrition issue or a nutrient issue, getting a fertilizer can be a very easy solution to that. The leaves that have been damaged or show nutrient damage will not turn green again, but it will prevent future leaves from becoming discolored. I know some people now use CalMag. I live in the desert where we have one of the hardest waters in the nation, so I don't need to use CalMag. Some people are using silica now. I don't know anything about that for Hoyas. I know that that's just mainly a variegated plant, variegated tropical house plant issue. I know some people use, there is a Fox Farms hydroponic solution that some people use, and I think that's a one-step solution. A lot of people use fish fertilizer. That's really good. Some people use foliar sprays. Those are good. I personally do not see them as a substitute for in-substrate nutrient solutions. I hope that this video helped you. I want you to know that cutting up Hoyas and taking a Hoya out of a pot can be scary. Just remember, you don't know how to take care of a plant. You don't know how to resolve a plant issue until you get in there and you do it yourself. Use videos like mine, like many other plant YouTubers out there, to get a basis of what you know you should look for, but use your own instincts with your plants, use your own experiences with your plants to guide you through what you need to do. And if you do have a disaster, just realize that the plant will regrow. Hoyas in particular are very forgiving. You can start all the way down to a single leaf, a single node, and regrow that plant all the way back. It may take some time, but you can do it. I hope that this video makes you feel rest assured that you can do the same thing too. I hope you really enjoyed today's video, and thank you so much for spending time with me, with my plants, going over this information. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below, and hopefully I can clarify anything that I may not have showed clearly in this video. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. And this is filmed around the holiday season, so please have a wonderful holiday season with you, your family, your friends, whoever you have your community. And until next time, I'll see you then. Goodbye.